it's kind of a different question, or at least it feels a little different now, Lou, because the Thunder, clear favorites. They have been running away with this thing basically all season long. How big of a disappointment would it be, though, if they did not get to the finals?
It's getting there because they're starting to earn expectation. You have to be one of the favorites to earn expectation. Like at first, it was a little honeymoon, like, okay, these young guys are turning the corner, they're getting over their heel, and now they have an expectation of excellence to be a really good basketball team. They've been the clear favorite in the Western Conference all year. It feels like there isn't a veteran team that's on their heels. Even though Denver is making a run, the next team is still 8 games behind those guys. Doesn't look like they're gonna look back and allow anybody to get in a position to take that one spot. They're gonna be the clear favorite. So I think at this point it'll be a huge disappointment for them not to at least reach the NBA Finals and represent Oklahoma City in that fashion, simply because of how they've been playing. At this point, we got to rip the Band-Aid off. We got to take that young tag off of these guys. They are a legitimate threat. They pose a legitimate threat to come out of the Western Conference and give Boston or Cleveland, whoever else that's going to come out of the East, a run for their money. So all of the training wheels and all of the excuses that we've made for them that's based around youth, that's out the window now. So it'll be a huge disappointment if they don't make it.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've put this team on a pedestal, rightly so. And as young as they are, they're also built to win right now, right? You don't pay Hartenstein $80 million to not win. You don't bring in guys like Alex Caruso. They bring in Daniel Theis right now at the deadline. The future is so promising here. And we always talk about how stacked they are with young talent and assets, picks, but they are healthy and poised to win right now. And they've been the most dominant team all season long. They probably have the MVP on their team in SGA, who's been tremendous. All-star Jalen Williams. Chet's now getting back healthy. He's back in the fold. So as young and as sky's the limit this team is, they are completely built to win right now. So it would be a huge disappointment. I don't think they shake things up if they don't get to the finals. I think it might make some minor moves. But they're in such a good position. But yeah, there's expectation. This is the best team in the Western Conference, probably the second best team outside the Celtics in the entire NBA. I don't care how old they are. There's expectations and pressure for them to win.
Yeah.
So here's why I think it's a little bit different, right? I think 2 months ago it'd be like, yeah, total disappointment. They are expected to just get through. But then all of a sudden we got Denver, who's won 8 straight, been there, done that. They've been champs, and they're third in the West. So if it was to be Denver that overtakes them at the last minute and gets to the finals, does that sort of lessen the blow at all, Chandler? Like, okay, they lost, but no, really, it feels like it's giving them a little cushion to me. Why not?
No,
Go ahead, Chandler. Sorry.
And the Nuggets, they're hot, right? They're the hottest team in the NBA, and they do have probably the best player in the world. But this is a team a couple months ago. We were talking about their windows closing, and they need to make a move. They should get off Porter. Or Jamal Murray's not that second guy, and now just because they go on a little heat here, and we trust them more because they're experienced, we can't give Oklahoma City a pass. Like I said, yes, they are young. Yes, they are a little bit inexperienced. They got a little exposed last year in the playoffs, but this team is good, and you can't just keep putting the young tag on this team because they've brought in vets. They've brought in Caruso. Lou Dort is a vet. Hartenstein, again, $80 million deal. You're not brought in to be a good locker room guy. You were brought in to win championships and help these guys grow and develop. But there's absolutely pressure on this team. And I do think Denver is their biggest threat. There's some issues with Dallas with health. I think the Lakers we're going to see how quick that kind of gets together. Memphis is right there if they can stay healthy. But yeah, when you're the clear-cut best team all season long, there are high expectations for you to win. And as good as the Nuggets are, you don't just get a pass for getting Jokic in the playoffs. If anything, it almost pisses me off more because this guy's not going anywhere for the next 5 years. We're gonna have to keep going through this dude. So you got to beat the bully. You got to beat the bully at some point, and it should be this year.
And check this out: we're jumping the gun. Like if the playoffs started today, their first round matchup would be the Los Angeles Clippers. And we know the history between the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. Like Denver has had the Clippers number dating back to the bubble. That is a team that would be hungry to play the Denver Nuggets in the first round with the way that they're playing. James Harden just represented them at All-Star weekend. Norman Powell feeling like he's being left out. Kawhi Leonard getting healthy. this is a team that can really put a lot of pressure on the Denver Nuggets if this thing was to start today. So we're walking these guys to the finals. They got to look forward and they got to look behind them to maintain that position that they're in.
Very excited about all of it. SGA, we got to talk a little MVP here because SGA also clear-cut favorite as of now, with Jokic second. But again, if you want to take numbers into consideration, it's a very interesting argument, Chandler. And you know it's going to get heated as we get closer and closer to time to actually name the MVP. Are you still taking SGA? Is there a world in which you could make this argument for Jokic for sure?
It's SGA right now, and it's probably going to finish SGA. They're 8.5 games back. I think the only way that he has a chance is if they catch it.
I'm proud of you, Chandler.
I like that.
I mean, look, there's 30 games. There's 30 games left. They're 8.5 games back. If the Nuggets keep on this tear and they take over the number one seed, Jokic keeps averaging 30 and 13 and 10,
here it is,
shooting 58% from the field and 45%. There's always going to be guys with numbers that are MVP level, right? Like there's multiple guys right now with stat lines that are MVP type. But you can't overlook the most dominant, best team in the conference. He's been so consistent. He's played, and again, I think unless the Nuggets literally get the number one seed, this is SGA's award this year. It's time. It's his. He's proven it. He could have won it last year. I can't see them jumping 8.5 games up and catching him. So I think he's got it in the bag.
We like challenges. Lou.
I'm just glad I'm not a vote member for this because I'm starting to understand the biases in having a vote, because it's no way that I would vote against my rook for this award with the way that he's playing, with the way that he's going about this, man. There's no way that I would vote for anybody else besides SGA and how he's been able to keep the Oklahoma City Thunder relevant at number one. 8.5 games above Denver, 8 games behind, 8 games before Memphis. Like, they're doing everything they can to maintain, and they're doing it in flying colors. They're doing it in a grand fashion, and that's on the back of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know, so as well as Jokic is playing, as well as Denver is playing, it's still a catch-up game. Those numbers are those numbers because it's a catch-up game. So I think this race will get heated. For sure. Once it comes down to the nitty gritty, like you said, we've got 30 games left in this season for these guys to duke it out and compete for that crown. But I feel like it's SGA's and it's a runaway.
Guys, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but as a foreign-born person myself, do you believe an American will ever win this award again, Lou?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think the international game is in a great run right now. You know, we keep talking about the NBA being one of the global sports of the world. Give it credit. The game has grown overseas. It's crossed the big pond. And a lot of these guys are holding up their end of the bargain and growing the game. And so right now it is international. Now, if it goes to Canada, that's pretty close to home.
No. What are you running for president? No, that's not how this works.
Well, that don't have nothing to do with what we're talking about either, but
Canada's not ours, despite what everyone wants to think.
That ain't what I said. I said it's getting closer back to home. It's getting closer. So if it went from overseas to Canada, what's the next stop? It's going to be back home. So that's what I feel like.
If I told you the MVP this year averaged 27, 9, and 6, you'd be like, yeah, right?
For sure.
Makes sense. That's Jason Tatum's numbers. So. Like he's probably third or fourth right now, like an MVP. Giannis is probably above him. Jokic is definitely above him. SGA's above him. So if I'm looking at the next American player, it's got to be the best player on probably the best team in the NBA, which is who I picked this year, Jason Tatum. I don't think anyone expected this for the Cavs, but if the Celtics were having the year that the Cavs were, and Tatum was averaging 27, 9, and 6. I think it's probably his I think it's close still between him and SGA, but now I think Jokic is third, and it's all about winning, and the Celtics are going to win a lot of money. Obviously, there's guys like Anthony Edwards that are going to have a chance. They're just going to have to win at an elite level, but to me, my pick would be Jason Tatum as the next guy because the Celtics aren't going anywhere.
I wonder if the Celtics were to win again and repeat, and then you come in next season, I wonder if it would be a different light that would shine on Jason Tatum. Sort of like he starts the year with MVP expectations. I don't, because I feel like he's always a little behind the 8 ball. And then by the time we get to this part of the season, he's 3rd or 4th. But what do I know? Kenny Beecham is standing by, and he will be back. We haven't talked to him in a minute, so we got a lot to catch up on. There he is. We'll be right back.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.